Let's see if this is working. All right, cool. All right, guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone can hear me with the mic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Note. It is Monday, September 20th, 2021. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. I'm a little paranoid when it comes to the mic, obviously, because last time, I think a couple of videos ago, where I was just talking for a good 10 minutes and no one could hear me. So I want to make sure that we're all good here. So thank you so much for stopping by. Before we begin, make sure to click bottom right-hand corner of the screen, little white square on your right-hand side. It's our logo. Click on that, turn on notifications, like our videos, subscribe to our channel. Really do appreciate it. As always, let's talk about the market. So Dow, well, futures are bloody red. Let's take a look at it in general. Dow futures are off the lows. We were down as much as 698 points on the Dow, starting to bounce slightly, down 624 points. NASDAQ down 254 points. S&P futures down 73, 43, 48. Russell 2000 down about 52 points, down 2.34%. And crude oil is down nearly 2% at 70.41 a barrel. Let's take a look at gold. They are up 0.47%. Silver futures up 0.33%. Silver futures are at 17.59 an ounce. Silver at 22.41 an ounce. Let's take a look at VIX. VIX is above 20. Remember we talked about that 20 level. It is up 24 and a half points at 25.92. The dollar index is also up 0.15%, 93.33. 10-year treasury yields at 1.318%, so treasury yields are falling. Let's take a look at Forex here. Euro dollar is down about 7 pips, 117.17. Dollar yen is down 48 pips, 109.49. That right there, the dollar yen, is starting to tell you some risk off trading here. So a lot of people, or a lot of traders, are going to a little more flight to safety. It's good to see gold is starting to pick up that flight to safety here. That's really the only green here. Let's take a look at crypto. Crypto taking a hit. A lot of de-risking here. As you could tell, that crypto was up the last couple of months, a good percentage point. I think Bitcoin was up in the last 3 months like 30% or 2 months or something like that. Ethereum is right around 3,018 on the future side, 43,415 on Bitcoin, down 7.5% currently. So again, just a pretty much an ugly wave of selling. As you can see, we're done with OPEX, but now this Evergrande or Evergrande stuff in China, again, they're a big real estate company. They were down. Let's take a look at the Asian market so we can get a little bit of perspective on where we're going here. It's not just in the US. Let's take a look here. Asia. Says Asian markets are closed. Nikkei was closed due to a holiday, so they're not really green. HSI, which is Hong Kong, they were down 3.30%, nearly 821 points. The ASX in Australia down about 2%. South Korea was closed for a holiday as well. Let's take a look at the Europe markets. They closed around 10:30 or 11 o'clock our time, Eastern time. The German DAX down 3%. The FTSE down 2%. The French CAC down 2.43%. So again, you can't really just say that it's just one part of the market. Again, we're a globalized economy. China does hurt. The problem here with the Chinese now is this Evergrande stuff. So again, they are a real estate company. They're very highly leveraged, so they're deleveraging. They do have some bond notes that are due, I believe, tomorrow. A lot of the banks are getting a hit because we are all worried about, kind of like a Lehman Brothers type of collapse. Now, the problem is that the Chinese government, the CCP, is either communist or capitalist, right? It's kind of like a hybrid system. So you would think the communist system would be more of a bailing out. We'll make sure that you're good. The state will back up this big company to protect investors and jobs and what have you. But then the other side is, the communist side, is that, hey, they're going against the elites. They're going against the rich. We're not going to bail you out, sort of thing. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. How long will this last is the question. Do I expect a kind of a Lehman Brothers collapse? Not really. I think it's one of those things kind of like the debt ceiling. A lot of people have asked me about the debt ceiling in the United States. We've had this kind of debate for about, I want to say a good 15, 20 years now. Every time we always raise the debt limit. That has not changed. I highly doubt Congress will let that pass. I think it's more of just grandstanding, kind of like putting your foot down saying, hey, I'm not going to raise a debt limit. You want to show face? But again, you're not going to allow the United States to default on its obligations either. So I kind of don't buy debt limit not being raised. I think it gets raised, but again, a little more grandstanding, a little more kind of showman politics from both sides. So there you go. That's not more of the that's not the worry meter for me. The worry meter is more of Evergrande. Again, what they owe to bondholders, and their company is down, I think, 10% in one day. Kind of gives you shades of Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers was a little more interconnected, obviously, in terms of the capital markets. Evergrande is in China. Sure, we have some ETFs in China. Sure, we have some stocks in China. But again, that's not the bulk of American investors. You can see Alibaba is down as well. I am a shareholder of Alibaba as well. So again, I've been seeing the weakness anyways. But again, think about it. You're talking about waves of selling here. You're talking about a lot of fear in the market. The VIX is up at 26. If we go ahead and expand the VIX here, give me a second here. We can go ahead and take a look at the daily on the VIX, and you could see that we're right at that 28 seems to be that kind of resistance. On the daily is still a downward trend. Again, we get these spikes, and then for a couple of months, we're kind of just holding pat. So time to panic? No, I don't think it's a time to panic. I typed up a little note on Instagram. You can feel free to take a look. Again, if you're an investor and you feel the need to kind of raise some cash and you want to take some cash out of your winners, that's fine. You can always pull out your initial investment if that's what you want, and you just let the profits ride. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not selling anything here. The last thing I sold was some DHI, which is D.R. Horton, and some Lowe's. I didn't want too much exposure just to housing. I expect interest rates to go higher. So again, housing will kind of slow down in that sense, meaning home buying. So again, I still love Home Depot. I own that. But other than that, I haven't really done much in terms of any kind of selling or anything like that. No. Obviously, I have a couple trades open. They're going to take a hit, obviously, with the market. Again, it's not just one stock in general. It's just the whole market in general. So looking at E-mini futures, let's take a look at that as well. And then we'll take a look at some pre-market, and then we'll answer some questions. So again, you could see E-mini futures, we broke below that channel. Again, all this is overnight. You could see we held that bottom part of the channel. Now we're breaking down. So let's kind of look at some levels on the daily to kind of give everybody kind of a feel of what we're looking at. We broke the 50-day moving average. Okay, we knew that with that 50-day moving average was kind of that first line of the sand. Now we're near the 100-day moving average, which is right around 43.22. So that's your support level 1 on the 4-hour. This is the daily, excuse me. So the 100-day moving average is your first line of defense. Do we break it? Well, that remains to be seen. Really, the last level for me where it really gets interesting is around 42.59. 42.59 breaks, it can get really ugly. Then you start talking about 4,000. And again, is 4,000 the worst thing in the world? No, because we'll go ahead and expand that and zoom out since January is right here. January, we started right around about 36.94. So we're still up nearly 30% for the year on the S&P. So again, to give back a little bit, I don't see a correction. I don't foresee a correction happening. Again, we haven't even hit a 5% drawback in the market. But I don't see a correction. Again, correction is 10%, bear market is 20%. A correction happening by the end of the year. Keep in mind, I talked about seasonality. September is usually the weakest month in the S&P. Usually the tail end of the month tends where we get a little more selling. But keep this with a grain of salt. The last 20 years, September has been the weakest month in terms of S&P. I'm going to make sure my voice can be heard. So with that being said, keep in mind, what happened? What are the two main events that happened in September the last 20 years? 9/11 in 2001 and Lehman Brothers collapse in 2008. So again, Lehman Brothers was a really, really big part of the market. 9/11, the terrorist attacks, obviously we know what happened there. But again, after even all that, we still recovered. So again, I don't want to throw in the towel and say the world's over. Remember, guys, a lot of people have been saying, oh, we haven't had a drop in the market. No one has seen a bear market. These millennials haven't seen a bear market. Were you not here in March 2020 in March? We had a 36% drawdown. I think, again, historically speaking, we have not had back-to-back 20% declines in the S&P in 2 years back-to-back, literally since the 30s. That's literally the last time we've had that. The closest we've gotten to that was around, I believe, I think it was the 70s. I have to make sure and take a look at my history book on that and the S&P. But the 30s was the one that stood out. That was right after the Great Depression. But back to back, over 20% drawdowns in the S&P has not happened literally in decades. Does it mean it'll never happen? No, of course not. But again, likelihood is different. And all you are doing here as a trader investor is you're looking at probabilities. That's really it. So go ahead and put your alerts here. 43.22 is your 100-day moving average. 42.60 was the lows of July. 44.80 to 4,500. It needs to be retaken before you can even have any glimpses of bullishness. Does that mean that you can't buy some good stocks here at these levels? Absolutely not. Of course, if you're looking for something to buy, you're looking for names that are strong balance sheets that can handle any kind of liquidity pullback from the Fed, meaning they're going to pull back, they're going to taper bond buying. Again, companies with strong balance sheets, names out of the top of my head, Microsoft, again, they just increased their dividends, increased their buyback. United Healthcare is a great company. Apple, again, tons of cash on that balance sheet. Google, tons of cash on that balance sheet. You have ADP, automated data processing, paycheck system. Again, great balance sheet as well. So Johnson & Johnson, AAA balance sheet. Great companies out there that you just got to dig a little bit. Probably try to focus a little bit on dividends. Again, some growth is going to kind of pull back here from just de-risking. But again, I still have growth stocks for the future. Again, I'm not planning to retire tomorrow. So again, I'm not worried about what's happening 52 weeks from now, let alone 5 years from now. I'm looking forward to 10, 20 years. That's how I look at investments in terms of the stock market. Now, in terms of trading, this is where it gets interesting. So I just saw a question in regards to puts. It kind of is a little bit too late to get into puts unless you had them over the weekend. I traded puts last week and it was still difficult. This tape is not easy. Remember, we're still not open. 9:30 in the morning is when we open. We're already bouncing off the lows. Does that mean the wave of selling is over? No, but there's one thing in particular that's coming out. We may hit a level of capitulation. What does that mean? Capitulation is when basically all hands are in the air and say, forget it, I'm done. And you just get so much selling that it's to the point that the selling is almost exhausted. That you get so negative bias in the market that that's where it turns bullish. A lot of investors will start putting some money to work. There's a lot of money in the sidelines in money markets. So again, could we be hitting that point of capitulation? It could be looking like that pretty soon. I'm assuming by the end of September, maybe. Does that mean that we have a little more room to go? Sure. But if you're looking at it here, the Fed is reporting on Wednesday. They have the FOMC meeting. So again, we do have some rate decisions coming up. So a lot of stuff that is coming out as well. October isn't exactly strong either. So again, you're starting to see a little bit of a pullback. We're not used to that as of yet. As of this year, we haven't had a 5% pullback. So again, we're used to what we're used to. But last year in March, we know what happened. We had a 35% drawdown. Again, are we going to get a 20% drawdown? More than likely not. A 10% correction, is that likely? Possibly. I don't think it will. I think really the line in the sand is 42.60. I think 42.60 could be tapped. But again, that is the major support. 43.22, if that does break, I would target 42.60 if anything. But again, I'm looking to see what to buy out there that's worth buying. Again, I probably wouldn't go too heavy on anything that's a little too speculative. I'd probably do a little more flight to safety. Again, the banks are taking a little bit of a hit today, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and what have you. So let's take a look at some pre-market movers. Let's see. Oh, if you guys want to take a look at my crypto portfolio, it is down. I was at 177 this weekend or something like that. Now I'm down. You can see again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Tezos, XRP, Stellar, Polygon, Sushi, and I bought some Shiba. Total speculation play. I also do dollar cost average on Bitcoin and Ethereum every week, as well as Tezos and Stellar. Not tons of money, but again, it's there. So just wanted to let you guys know in regards to that. I think the one-day change is about 9.5% on my crypto portfolio. That's just the reality of the game. Again, if you're looking for more growth, you're going to have more risk. That's just the way it goes. If you're looking for something a little safer, that is not as volatile, again, guys, S&P fund. Keep it simple, S&P fund. You could always do a 60-40, which is 60% stocks, 40% bonds, if that's what you prefer. Really depends on where you are in terms of, where you're going to be in retirement and what have you. So again, does this mean that you should stop your 401k? I've had this discussion in March in 2020. We had a video on it. You can take a look on YouTube. It was an investment seminar where we talked about this and everyone was freaking out. Again, been here before. This is nothing new. You can see the heat map as well, pre-market. Tesla's down, Amazon's down, Home Depot's down. Really nothing extreme except Colgate-Palmolive, which was upgraded, Comcast, which is green today. But again, even Berkshire Hathaway, a great company, is down as well. But banks are really bloody today. So again, that's where we are this morning. Let's take a look at some pre-market movers. I can take a look here, and then I'll answer some questions. Pre-market movers. The biggest movers, Smile Direct Club is up 3.5%. Zivo Bioscience 105%, never heard of them. Apple's down 1.79%. AMC's down 6% pre-market. Microsoft down 1.17%. So again, not a ton where, oh, this is worth buying today. Not seeing that kind of move. Like on a Microsoft or an Apple, I would want a little more downside. S&P, Ford, Tesla, Nvidia. Nvidia is a great company, down 3.43%. Anything below 200 is worth buying, I think, on Tesla. Nvidia. Bank of America is down 3%. Pfizer's down 1.5%. Their booster shot or their vaccine was Pfizer says that their vaccine is okay for children. Again, that's an opinion by them. That's not FDA approved in terms for children that I have read. Moderna's down 2.5%. So again, weakness across the board. That's just really nowhere to hide so far. But again, we just have to go and play by ear, step by step. Again, I do have some Palantir calls. Really just got railed in terms of the market. Good news that it's still early in the week. So again, it's still Monday. We haven't even opened. We did break below that support of 27.43, which was that breakout level. There is a gap to fill to the upside. Let's see if we get it. I'm still holding them. I'm going to give it a little bit of room here. Let's see if we can retake that 50-day moving average of 27.90. But again, if it's just one whole stock market moving individual stocks, there really isn't just one to stand out other than two, Colgate-Palmolive and Comcast. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Good morning. What are we watching today? Really, today I'm just going to watch S&P for now. I want to see exactly if we do hit that level in the S&P on the daily. If we do break, let's see here. We do break, I think I had a level here, 43.22. I don't think we break that. I think the worst of the selling has happened already, in my opinion. I think now we'll start to bounce a little bit. We'll end the day red. I don't foresee S&P making up 71 handles. All the futures movement today. But again, I think that we cut a little bit into that, into this to loss. And again, most of the fear, I think, was overnight in Asia and overnight in Europe. So again, we'll see. We'll probably get a little bit of a bounce possibly today. My thing is probably we'll get to around 43.75, if anything, on the S&P. VIX, there is a gap to fill to the downside right at 21.47. I foresee that could be possibly filled. So again, the VIX is starting to near resistance at 28. If anything, we'll come back down a little bit. I'm already seeing a sliver of green on NASDAQ. Again, it could be just some shorts taking some profits, if anything, right in the morning, which makes a lot of sense. Usually that price action happens where you have the futures open, and if it was red, it turns green, and if it was green, it turns red, or if it's really red, we'll get some buying, and if it's really green, we start getting some profit taking. As you can see, the Dow is starting to make up some of its losses. It was down as much as nearly 699 points. You're starting to see now it's at down 599. Again, does it mean mission accomplished? Does it mean that the world's great again? No, it just means it's just showing that, this market is very fluid. So catching puts here may not be the best thing. You really have to catch it at the right time. That was a question from Eric. Good morning. If Wolf is asking about Corsair. Corsair, let's take a look at it. Corsair did break 1 hour support. Let's take a look at the daily and start kind of looking at it. 27.60. I would say if you're looking for Corsair, possibly 21.84 seems about right. I don't own the stock. I'm just going based on technicals here. If you like it, go for it. If you're willing to hold long term, go for it. Let's take a look. Good morning, Greg. Let's take a look at Tesla together. And I do have some calls on Tesla. And let's take a look at the hourly chart. I'm going to go and expand it so everyone could see it. Tesla was at 59.50.49 at the close, on Friday. Again, you can see the dip from the market in general, really nowhere to hide. There was an upside gap to fill. You could see that was a little bit of a filled pre-market. So you do have a possibility of a bounce. 722 was that previous breakout level. It seemed to be that support that we've had last Monday. Let's see what we get. But for right now, as long as 722.72 holds, if you're a shareholder, if not, really 765 upside. I think Tesla has more upside. But again, it's a big part of the triple Qs. It's part of the S&P now. So Tesla doesn't have that kind of insulation where if the market falls, Tesla can go up. It doesn't have that anymore. Thoughts on Path? Let's take a look at Path. UiPath. I've never heard of this name. You can see a little more downside, obviously, nothing new with the market. You're at daily support, if anything. Let's take a look at a 3-week chart. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a place, again, I haven't researched the company at all, so again, and I can't do fundamentals here. I can only look at technicals. If this is a buy level for you and you own the stock and you like it, this is the buy level for you here, because you're right at multi-year support. So again, you want to buy cheap, if anything, this is the place to go. Do you pay attention to the Buffett indicator? I've read about it, absolutely, but I can't say I pay attention to it most. Most of it is I look at is VIX, S&P, and bonds. Those three tend to really tell me a lot about the market. Shopping day today price to add Apple, AMD, and Tesla. You know what? The thing with the market today, I don't think we're there yet in terms of wanting to buy. Again, I still like below 142 for Apple. I think 142 to 140 is a great place to buy more Apple. So again, we're not there yet. Tesla, in order to add more, again, I've been wanting 583.23. Will I get that lucky? Probably not. So again, 665 would be okay. 600 would be okay, but to buy level here on Tesla, we haven't had enough of a drop yet. No. Again, I want Black Friday prices, not 10% off through an email from Old Navy. I don't want that. I want that really big discount. But that's just me. And then there's one more on AMD. AMD, we're at 101.10. Below 100, I think is a great place to buy. 95 would probably be a little better. But I think I'm going to put it around 95 to 100. Seems to be a great level. I love AMD. So again, any kind of dip on there, I'm for it on AMD. Look for a long on futures or wait for a pullback and come down. Well, I really want to see how the market opens in terms of the S&P. We're starting to get slightly of a bounce here. Again, 43.22 would be my first support. If that does tap there, I can start possibly taking a look at a leg in for a possible buy. But right now, it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Again, we're close to support from right around August of around 43.40, 43.47. So we're above that. So that's a good thing. So again, 43.22. Again, we could test that. That's right at the 100-day moving average. That could possibly be the buy level you want. Then the question is, where would be your stop? The stop would be 42.60. I know that's a hell of a swing. Again, you're talking about 80 points. So again, you need at least a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio if you're trading futures. So you need at least upside of 160 to 200 points. Where's that? 4,500. So again, if you get into right around 43.22 and you target 45.22, that's 200 points. That's not terrible on a risk-reward sentiment. But when does that happen remains to be seen. If we do break 42.60, then 41.01 is in play in terms of the 200 days. So anything long here in terms of futures isn't very prudent. Anything short in futures isn't very prudent either, since a lot of the move just already happened over on the week on Sunday. So again, we got to see where the market goes. I want to see where the VIX goes. If the VIX breaks 28, then for short would be the level to do. Going short on futures would be the best route. But again, we talked about futures. Again, it's still in a downward trend on the daily. 28 is your resistance. If that breaks, that's where it gets really interesting. What did I mean by interesting? That's where the S&P starts really picking up steam to the downside. You're talking about 32 VIX, possibly 38 VIX, and if it gets even more ugly, 41 VIX. And keep in mind, 41 VIX was last October, October 29th. What level were we on October 29th on E-mini futures? That's right here. We were at 31, we had that drop from 35.33 down to around 32.70. Right here, that was right at the lows. That was your capitulation lows in October. Again, that's E-mini futures. If you go by the VIX on October, that was right here, 41.16. So again, if we kind of put it side by side, the VIX again is still in the downward trend in terms of the daily. E-mini futures is still a upward trend on the daily as well. But again, if you break 28, that's where it gets really interesting. That's where you start seeing the 200-day moving average on S&P start really to accelerate. Excuse me. So 28 would be the level I am watching on the VIX. I placed an alert. Let's see what we get. The SPY calls it is. Well, not yet, but yes, possibly. Shorting, potential Square buying level. Let's take a look at Square on the daily. We're at 246.35. Again, a low for me is 200. Again, I own shares and I love Square, so 200 is my level. Again, that's a hell of a discount. But another level you can possibly do is right around 238. 238 is your 200 day. Not terrible, but again, I want a deeper discount on Square. I like the company. AMD support level. AMD support level is really 99. That's your daily support level. If you're looking at the hourly in terms of trading, again, a tough tape, 99 is still a level. But again, we're starting to see a sliver of green. Just keep in mind, don't be surprised if we kind of cut these losses in half. So again, think of it as the Dow being down only 250 as an alternate of 500. It's an example. Don't be surprised because I've seen this before. Let's see, buy the dip now, long-term Apple? No, we still need a little more downside for Apple. I think below 140 is fine, but we're not there yet. This isn't enough of a dip yet, guys. This is kind of like, the pre-sale, if you're saying that. Again, you want Black Friday shopping, right? That's what you want. You don't want just, a coupon in the mail or 10% off or something like that. You don't want that. You want something Black Friday type shopping. And if you're looking for a dip buy. Right here, I mean, you could always leg in a little bit and kind of nibble here and there. That's fine. But I really want some fear in the market. I really want a good continuation flush to hit the levels. Again, a 200-day moving average on the S&P would be great, again, if you're a stock buyer. But until here, we're really not there yet. We still have a lot of gains for the year, to be honest with you. Interested in Disney, looks to be coming together for a big leg up. I love Disney. I own Disney, so definitely have a lot of interest in that company. Again, you're starting to see a sliver of green. Again, hope, right? Let's see. Now, the level you're looking for Disney, again, I'm a shareholder. I love Disney. 157.47. I know that's a long way from where we are. But we're starting to see a little bit of consolidation, kind of a little bit of a rising wedge here, right at 180, still holding the 200-day. Again, I love Disney long term. That's probably one of my favorite stocks to own. But again, right now, it's not worth a dip buy yet. It just isn't there. Remember, it's not the stock, it's the price you pay. It really is. Price what you pay really determines your P&L down the line. Is Adobe a good buy? Adobe is a good buy, but I would wait after earnings. I think Adobe is an amazing company to own, but they do have earnings coming up. Wait for that. If there's a dip in the market and they have strong earnings because the S&P, they're our S&P company. They're one of the bigger ones. I do own it in terms of SPY-G. I don't own it individually, but I think they're worth a buy after earnings if you're going in an initial position. If you're just looking for this company in terms of, to add on, I would say right around 600 seems about right. 581 would probably be best, but who knows if we even get there. Good morning, Carlos. Thinking about buying some crypto. Thoughts on the coins and any suggestions? I think to keep it simple, you have two. I would kind of say Coca-Cola and Pepsi, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. You own both, you're going to be fine long term. And definitely, I think December is where we're going to hit 100,000 on Bitcoin anyways. And then by that time in 2022, we'll get some more pressure to the downside. But Q4 for Bitcoin seems to be, and crypto seems to be where the money's going to happen. Should I go all in into crypto now? No. Again, you know the drill. This is a risky asset. Just because a chart says something, just because I say something at the end of the day, anything could happen. Don't put more than you can handle in terms of crypto. Crypto can give you a 70% drawdown in a blink of an eye. So if you can, if you're the type of person that loses sleep over a loss in the market in terms of crypto, I would not invest in that kind of asset because it's extremely volatile. If you want to put a little bit of a slice in your portfolio in it, that's fine. That makes sense. But again, you need to know your own kind of pain threshold in terms of crypto and other kind of assets. I mean, people have talked about NFTs. To me, NFTs just don't work. I just don't know enough about it. I'm not a big art person. I know I'm not a big car person. I don't collect cars. So again, everyone is different. My thing is I like sneakers, but again, it's not an investment. It's a hobby. But again, in terms of investment, really, I'm old school, man. Stocks. I don't even invest in real estate other than REITs, and I own my home. That's it. But a lot of people are different. There's people who like real estate. There's people who like stocks. People who like NFTs. People who like Pokemon cards. People who like gold coins. People who like art. It's really what you like and what you prefer. Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. ASML. I'm going above the time, so it's all good. ASML, I don't know much about. But again, looking at the daily, seems to be nice uptrend, of course. We're at 837 now. If you're looking for a possible dip buy, 789.39 would be your first leg. That'd be the 50-day moving average. 728 being the 100-day, 640 being the 200-day. I don't think that we'll get to the 200-day, but the 50-day so far in terms of trend seems to be about right. And then next one is Ford. Again, I don't own Ford. I'm not a fan of the company personally. When it comes to automobiles, only Tesla's the one I own at NEO. But again, that's just me. But Ford, looking at it here, we're at $13.10, a 200-day moving average around $12.36. If you want to dip buy, seems about very prudent there. If anything, your support is right around $11.38. That'd be another level to look at. And Palantir, I do have calls and I do own the stock. Let's see where it's moving right now. Again, we had that breakout of 27.43. We have a gap fill at 31.35. Again, this is before Evergrande. This is before the S&P falling. We're starting to get a little bit of a check back here. Let's see if we retest that breakout level of 27.43. The goal is to hit 27.90, fill this gap to 28.57. Again, we need to see if the market complies. Do we still have more fear going on for the rest of the day, or was all the action overnight? That's really the question. And in terms of BTC support, it's very difficult to get a BTC chart, so I can only go by futures. Let's go by the daily, and you could see, again, there's a lot of lines. Really, you had that golden cross, the 50 over the 200. That came back down a little bit. Your first support is really right around 42,000, 42.5 currently. But really, the 100 days right around 41.6. So let's call it 40 is your next support. That'd be a nice level to buy, if anything. But until then, you're not doing much. It could be a dead cat bounce, sure, Austin. But the question is, did we already hit capitulation? Did we already hit the level where fear is already baked in the system or baked into the market? I'm already seeing the VIX come back down a little bit. If the VIX does fill this gap of 21, 22, that'd be great. If the VIX can break below 24, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we slice this in half, the Dow, and we're only down 300 or 250 for the day, since all the action was done on Sunday and pre-market, with Asia being open, except for Japan and South Korea for holiday, and Europe. So again, we have to remain to be seen. It remains to be seen. We're starting to see some green. Let's see what we get at 9:30 with all the liquidity coming in from all the traders as cash opens at 9:30. All right, guys, I went ahead and went over this time. All the time, I usually go about 15, 20 minutes. Went over like 40 minutes. I think it was worth it because there was a lot to talk about. But again, no fear. Let's see what we get. And let's have a great day in the markets. Have a great week. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great one.